Hello and welcome to Season 2, Week 6 of the Prep Phase League. I am Septimus. Joining me today on YouTube here is Restart. So, how are you doing today, Restart?
Fantastic. Can't wait to get going with this final week of the league leading up into the tournament coming up.
Yeah, I am super excited. A lot of things could possibly happen today. Varying from totally possible to probably not going to happen, but there's still a chance. So pretty excited to see how today and tomorrow plays out, possibly changing up what everybody thinks is going to happen with the seeds going into the tournament.
Absolutely. For those of you that are following, right now we are going to have Outplayed versus Not 100. Outplayed, of course, one of those top 6 teams, and is actually guaranteed a spot in the tournament. If they sweep today, there's a possibility that they could possibly even enter as first seed. Right now, they have, I believe, 28 points, and if they sweep, they go to 31, 1 point above Trash, but Trash has yet to play any games, so they would have to drop all their games. Still, Outplayed, one of those top tier teams, definitely something to look forward to. And the rest of the teams really battling out for points this late in the season. As we mentioned, Outplayed secured. Also, Trash has secured a spot. 2OP and Voltaic. There are a couple that will be fighting for the last 2 spots, but those won't be seen today. You guys will have to tune in tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's something actually worth stating is the fact that really Trash didn't even have to play this weekend and they still would have secured a bye into the semifinals for the tournament because they've got 30 points. The only team with any chance to overtake them is Outplayed. They've already swept one game today, so if they sweep this game as well, that will actually put them, like you mentioned, at 31 points, which 2OP, the next closest, is at 20 points. Even they wouldn't be able to take over Trash's point accumulation with a double sweep today. So pretty much Trash has secured a bye. Even if they don't play this weekend, at this point, they just want to hold on to that first seed. And of course, like you were mentioning, we've got the last two, fifth and sixth position on the leaderboard. Really kind of a rumble tumble going on down there because we've got points for fun in fifth place at 17 points, play for fun right behind him with 16 points, and then we've got seventh and eighth place cookie cutters and love bites at 12 and 8 points. Basically, we could see a whole switch around if Freelancer United Nation and Play for Fun lose all their matches and Cookie Cutter and Love Bites win all of theirs. You could see a complete flop there, and Fun and Play for Fun could fall out of the tournament and be replaced by two other teams entirely.
Yeah, there's a lot to see. And then not only that, these other teams, not 100, COTP, Origami, some teams newest, some teams experienced, but they're just fighting for a lot of points right now for bragging rights for the future season to make players want to come to them and want to say these are good teams that have a shot next year or next season as they will come up. So definitely not out of the running. These teams definitely have a lot to play for yet, but looks like these teams are ready. So why don't we get them drafting, and we'll switch over to that shortly.
So yeah, and on that note, of course, like you mentioned, a lot of these teams are actually going to be playing tomorrow. Outplayed really the only top contender playing today, other than of course Voltaic Gaming, who is in the fourth seed spot. Really, not a whole lot of chance they could get knocked out of the position as well, because those top four have such a lead on everybody else that they're pretty much secured in their tournament position. Where they seed at, though, is kind of what's left up to question.
And is a big factor. Last year we saw second and third place never actually played each other and could have easily been swapped if they had been played. So, of course, with these tournaments being prized, seed makes a big difference. Right now, though, we've seen the draft get started. We have Evo's Laboratory as the first map between Outplayed, who is the home team and did pick the map, and Not 100, who is the away team for this map. Instant ban of Helio, as a lot of these top 6 teams love to do. They don't want the variance of these lower seeded teams trying to come in and just get some big outplay going on. Not 100 bands away, Asana, that comfort pick for a lot of people, says we're going to try and throw you off a game a little bit, and then firepowers right off the bat.
Well, and let's go into that a little bit. That Asana ban, I'm going to assume, is directly targeted at Baby Millie, who has just been absolutely rocking Asana lately. Really, really impressive Asana game. The past several weekends has been playing Asana almost exclusively and just doing a great job at a harass frontliner. Really moving into the back lines, targeting those supports, pretty much making sure that the enemy team, does not get any support from their support player whatsoever, because the support's too busy running away, trying to keep themselves alive, which is a great way to play Asana with her dashes and ability to shield herself from any kind of damage that might come her way, as well as dealing out a little damage when she does shield herself.
And now that we've seen that not 100 has their support, we're looking for a frontliner from Outplayed. They do go ahead and pick up that Titus with Asana being out. Titus, Rask, Asana, all very common frontliners, especially on Evos as well, whereas the Rampart and the Garrison more often niche picks when needed. So Titus picked out right away. Not 100 is going to go ahead and pull out that Rampart that a lot of these newer teams have been leaning on, sometimes to great effect, but you really need to be coordinated. We'll see if they can pull that off. We've seen sparks of brilliance with Rampart, but we've also seen a lot of letdowns. So we'll look to see how Not 100 uses them today. Surprised we have not seen Celeste yet, and you've got to think that maybe a Celeste or a Zuki might be coming out. No, it is a Blackburn from Not 100, so Celeste completely ignored on what a lot of people think is one of her stronger maps, with the ability to just snag these power-ups from odd locations, be able to block off big lines of sight, throw over walls. Very well-rounded, a dash around walls. Really a well-rounded champion, being snubbed at this point, but looks to be an interesting match.
So yeah, we will probably likely see Dr. Finn come out here for Outplayed. Etheria is on the team for this game, and there it is. Really, whenever she's on her support player, she's either running that Aurora or Dr. Finn, and hasn't really deviated from those two specific picks. Of course, Not 100, obviously been doing a little research and snatched away two of Outplayed's favorite freelancers.
All right, so we're just making sure that the map is correct, and we'll be able to go very shortly here. So we've got Evos Laboratory. We've got these two teams. Who drafted a better team?
So, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to tell. I really haven't done a lot of investigation on Rampart since some of his changes lately. As far as the frontliners go, I still don't think he's the strongest pick, but I've seen some really amazing things go down with Rampart here in the prep phase, as well as in games I've been playing myself. So I really can't, give the best interpretation of what could happen with Rampart here today. I do think Outplayed has some of the just fan favorites: Gray, Lockwood, Titus, and Dr. Finn, just an overall really solid team. Of course, Blackburn and Nyx, two really great firepowers that I think are a little bit understated and not used quite so much, because some of their versatility doesn't translate on all the maps as well. And Aurora, of course, just an excellent overall support character, which, can really be used for any situation.
And we've seen a lot of versatility on her mods recently. Ion fields, healing ion fields, self-healing on the basic versus the extra healing to the teammates. People are really starting to develop their own character for these supports that they're playing, whereas a lot of the firepowers tend to stick on pretty standard builds for this point. You pretty much know what most of them are running, with the exception of there's two different Blackburns. There's a couple different things, but not as much variety as the supports, which will be what we're looking at to see what they went with on this one. Now, in terms of movement effects, taking a look at those, it's really just Rampart on Not 100. And really, it's the Gray and Finn ultimates on Outplayed, but neither team has to be worried too much about anything besides maybe a slow here and there. And the Rampart pull, not a big issue. So let's get into this first game right away. You'll see Outplayed versus Not 100, and you've got on the blue side is our not 100. That's Rhyme, Rambo, Princess, and Omni. And Outplayed is our red team with Road, Ash Jackie, Etheria, and Baby Mill, as both teams lock in their first turn moves.
All right, and looks like we got Not 100 moving up to the north side with Outplayed moving to the complete opposite side. So a little bit of ring around the rosy going to be happening here in the beginning. Gray, of course, Ash Jackie did decide to stay there in the middle, provide a little bit of vision to the top side, as well as going to give Ash Jackie pretty much any choice of where he would like to place his drone at.
Yeah, neither team really has vision on the other one, but with that drone, Ash Jackie can provide a lot more vision for their team, and with Road on that Lockwood, they have a better chance of hitting people once they do get vision, being able to shoot around corners. We do see the drone come out to scout, won't find anybody just yet. Etheria is going to take a random shot. Hope does not want to waste that heal just for the energy just yet. A little bit of pokey from the other side, but otherwise they actually just back off. Neither team wants to show themselves first.
Yeah, it looks like we've got Ash Jackie over here going to be taking a pot shot at... I'm guessing he's just taking an assumption here because it still doesn't look like there's any vision going on for either team. So this is really just, just people still doing their little pokes out there trying to find somebody. And I'm not sure if that drone has infrared on it or not. Looks like it does.
Ash Jackie is going to find Rhyme. Rhyme will return the favor with a little bit of spread damage. Still one behind cover, one not. No big changes, but now Baby Millie actually does find the Might pretty late on turn 3. You can probably expect a dash here.
Yeah, and this is really where things are going to start to get interesting. We've got Omni still out there in the middle, not behind any cover, really where you do not want to be a support. Probably was not expecting there to be any kind of aggression at this point, but has really put themselves in a terrible spot for a dash coming from Titus.
I'll take the fight to you.
Titus gets the bubble and goes for the dash straight in. Rhyme will dash out of the way. Cannot hit other dashes, so we'll avoid some damage there. It is Omni that's going to take the bubble damage plus the basic, as well as a shot from Ash Jackie well in cover. You won't get any return damage, but the bubble explodes, hitting 3 people. And this is what's so dangerous. Unfortunately, unstoppable on the bubble, blocking Princess Shining's pull, but so dangerous about having an enemy tank and behind your lines, being able to hit your support and your fire powers with the tank, the frontliner, all the way on the other side of the team. You just get caught out of position.
Yeah, that really kind of shows the strength of the unstop bubble there, where you can throw that for protection on someone dashing in, even any kind of crowd control that may be thrown on them as they enter, I guess you could call it the danger zone. Just not going to have any effect on them, and Baby Millie didn't take a single bit of damage, even though they could have easily focused him down as he jumped in there.
Theory doesn't have a good hit, so went and healed their team. We combined with Baby Millie's weaken. That means Baby won't go too low this turn. Even that 38 and the stab here only doing a little bit of total damage. Meanwhile, the drone comes in to try and cover spots that the team might move to next turn. It does cover Princess Shining. Once again, the firepower is out in a pretty open position for our blue team, whereas Outplayed really is in cover with clear shots.
So yeah, it looks like Baby Millie did a follow on Omni, still going with that same tactic he seems to use on Asana, where he's just harassing the support. Does get him in a little bit of a bad position here, right in the middle of the enemy team, but really nothing Titus can't handle. But he's going to go ahead and reveal that Nyx instead, just to make sure he doesn't get away.
Yeah, interesting choice. Nyx doesn't have a heal up this turn, but they're still going to hit him anyways with the basic attack, but just wanted to proc that extra damage as a bouncing shot from Road hits Rhyme. Rhyme returns the favor with damage. Princess is going to focus Baby Millie. Combined with Omni, they are going to punish him for being out in the open, but with the damage they got on Nyx, may indeed be worth it. Baby Millie still in the middle of the team, though.
Yeah, and this is really a great spot for Baby Millie. His dash is back up. He's going to be able to hit all 4 of the members of the enemy team, provided none of them dash. And he's going to avoid any possible dashes which there aren't any on the Lancers he's fighting against right now, but if there were any dash attacks against him, he'd avoid damage from them as well, even though it's a 1 square dash, which is a great tactic to use on Tidus if you're completely surrounded by the enemy team.
Yeah, I mean, you get the slow, he got 25 damage on everybody. Shiny not able to use that shield very effectively yet, taking a lot of damage, won't have a lot of wiggle room. Unfortunately, Omni and Rambo both take shots together with Shining, and you're sure Raimi is going to contribute, bringing Baby Millie extremely low with no escapes except for the Catalyst. Except maybe that Brain Juice might help.
Well, but you also have to look at the fact, I mean, already he's got his ultimate. It's only turn 8, which is pretty amazing. And it looks like he's running Revealing Cry. Unfortunately, it looks like Nyx will be outside of that range, but were he running some sort of heal, he would have been in a great position here and would have had a little bit more sustain. So I think in the situation that he tends to put himself in as a frontliner, it may have been a little bit more beneficial for him here. But, you know, to each his own.
That shield does come out while Princess does have a little bit of health to see if they can survive with some health remaining. They are going to dart Nyx, so Nyx no chance of getting away, combined with the shout. Baby Mill dashing straight over to Rambo, going to take off a lot of that shield. Etheria, of course, bouncing off the shield. Road will find Raimi instead, so do significant damage. Raimi throwing the grenade will get 2 inside of it, though weakened, not much damage. Here comes the drone as Jackie had built up a lot of energy trying to trap the enemy team. Won't find anybody in it directly.
So it doesn't look like anybody actually going to walk through it. Omni and Rambo AZ both. Rambo AZ hugging the wall there. Omni staying in place, probably expecting something to happen there. I'm sorry, actually catalysted there the previous turn. So that drone honestly could have been in a little bit better position. I don't think he was in a position to reach all the way to them. But, you know, left several avenues of escape. They're really only covering one direction they might possibly go, because they were going to have to go through Millie, and most often you're going to see players running away from the aggressing Lancer.
Lots of healing coming out early, but our first big damage of the turn is Baby's ultimate, hitting both Rambo and Princess for solid chunks of damage. Nobody too low yet, but Jackie's going to change that, bringing Rambo extremely low as they try and do the same to Baby Millie. It is Road from the back way downtown, taking Omni and Princess low. Not enough focus to kill anybody yet. The pull brings Baby Millie into the back where they won't be able to hit anybody this coming turn with any direct attacks. Smart move.
So I gotta say, this is not a great position for both Omni and Rambo AZ. They've got Princess Shining does have his ultimate there, so we'll be able to provide a little bit of protection. But at that point, they're going to have 3 incredibly low Lancers just clustered up together. And when you've got people like Road and Etheria on Finn, you've got all this AoE available to them. You really want to try and spread out as much as you can while still supporting each other.
Shields come out, as do the traps. Princess Shining going to use the dash mechanics to get in front of Jackie. Jackie decided not to drone and instead went with the direct attack. Will get punished for that with a block. Rambo hitting a big 3-person ultimate. That's going to try and turn the tides back in their favor. Combined with Raimi, they brought Road extremely low, even through the bubble. And that's going to be a big, big comeback for the Not 100 team.
So, but once again, they are incredibly close. Just a couple abilities here, and they're going to wipe out all 3 members of the enemy team for a triple kill. Now, Baby Millie, of course, incredibly low, along with Road, but both have dashes available to them, whereas, you know, the only way for anybody on the other team to escape is to blow that 1-turn catalyst for Nyx. And it's a question of, do you really want to do that with only 12 health, or do you want to ride it off and just come back the next turn?
Baby does an excellent dagger, catching 2 people on the enemy team. Will know exactly where they are and almost kill them. Road dashes out into damage, goes down to 1, and the second hit from the ultimate does take out Gray immediately. Etheria will try and get some retribution damage, pulling Omni in. That will trigger the dagger, take down Omni. A quick trade 1-to-1 with Road in an awful position after that dash.
So now you have that situation where you've got 2 characters who don't have a dash, both with incredibly low health, who are going to die this turn with even just a little bit of focus. It's one of those, like I was mentioning, one of those things. Do you want to use that catalyst just to die the next turn, or do you want to go ahead and put that damage out this turn, take the death, and get back into the game faster?
Well, Road gets healed back up to 26, but Rambo sewing out the trap. Did Road go the predictable route? He did. Dashing through the trap will kill himself, although they do get the damage on. And the heal that was ticking off brings him back up to 6 as the grenade goes over to Etheria. You have to think that was calculated. Otherwise, he would have taken the safer route. But 7 health is not much to go off of.
Yeah, and here you have Princess Shining. Does have a wall available to him. He could potentially block damage from all 3, although Road is likely going to do a bounce shot here just to make sure he catches him. So we're going to see what happens here. See if Princess can survive this.
Bubble goes on Road to keep them alive as Baby dashes in from the background. Surely a surprise to Princess, who was out of line of sight on that one. Road will bounce a shot directly in with Mike. That's definitely a kill. And unfortunately, they were doing a full run this turn, so don't get anything off in return. That shield definitely would have saved them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it would have saved him because that bounce shot was for 48. They only had 43 damage left. So
they would have gained 10 health from Baby's dash.
So yeah, if they would have gotten that health, if that's the mod they were taking, I haven't noticed that, they could have possibly survived.
Omni heals back up Raimi. Raimi coming back up pretty well here. Ashaki's little bit of damage won't do much to counter that. As Raimi continues to do spray attacks instead of focused ones, that won't do much in return. Looks like OP grouping back up, but not 100 is starting to spawn back up as well.
So I do want to say, if you notice that little juke that Road did there, that is a fantastic trick that a lot of the top level players will do. You'll notice he moved in a Z pattern, running to square 4 right here, juking back to square 3, and then ran all the way to the end of that cover there, or not cover, the shroud there, making it look as though he's in that 3rd square. Anybody trying to shoot at him is going to shoot in the wrong position.
Ashaki takes direct shots, revealing Rambo, but takes a lot of damage in return as all 3 visible members from the enemy team hit him. Looks like Road was able to find a 2-person taunted light him up. That will shift the damage numbers back in their favor already, if it wasn't already so, in this 3-1 game. Ashaki with 2nd ultimate available.
Yeah, and here we have Rambo AZ, already burned his catalyst, stuck right there in the middle of Outplayed. Ash Jackie has a shot on every member of the enemy team, has a shot on him, with Road being able to bounce shots wherever he likes.
Come wash your worries away.
Etheria finds just a single person heal. Hopefully that will be enough to be worth it. Baby Mill will weaken the enemy team, trying to make everybody live, and these short dashes are really paying off, hitting multiple people every time. Unfortunately, the direct shot from Rambo will still go through to Ash Jackie. Raimi's going to throw it to Ash Jackie as well. Even Princess Shiny, they are focusing Ash Jackie. Ash Jackie doesn't go down, and Omni was not able to or willing to go around to complete the death. That means that the focus will take out Nyx, but Ash Jackie survives with 2 health. Again, these teams not able to finish off the targets they need to.
Remaining.
Yeah, and at this point, there is really nobody in a position to take advantage of Ash Jackie being there with only 3 health. You do have Omni here with an ultimate, could even probably reach Ash Jackie with the basic, but Ash Jackie has 1 dash available to him with his catalyst, and the next turn will have another dash available. So
it looks like they may not go down just yet. Princess is going to try and wall off Baby to see if they can't prevent some damage as Raimi attempts to go for the kill. Rhodes will end in nothing. Shining will catch Baby Millie for the slow, but Raimi will whiff because of Ash Jackie's dash. Omni catching Baby Millie, bringing them low, as well as bringing Raimi back up. Go down just yet. OP's going to have a hard time finding this 5th kill. But really, they just need to prevent the enemy team from getting 3 kills.
And at this point, they could really just start spreading to the 4 corners of the map, which is a tactic we have seen some teams use before. We're at 18. If they're up this far ahead, they just split up as far as possible. While not the most satisfying win, where you could win with kills, it definitely does secure it for you, where the team is just either has to focus on one person and can't get everybody to even it all up.
Omni heals up Rhyme. Rhymey's going to do that spread shot just to get as much spread damage as possible, but not the single target. They think that they've got Baby Mill regardless. Eels bouncing around as Road shoots as well. They've figured out their focus target. It is Rhymey with the dagger. That brings them extremely low. Is this the finish off from Ash Jackie? Rhymey goes low, but can they move? They will not be able to because of Baby Mill's and massive damage, but it doesn't matter because that's the final damage they needed to kill Rhymey here.
Yeah, it looks
Rhymey
like
goes down turn 18.
And it looks like Princess, instead of focusing Baby Millie, decided to hook Road there. They could have had another kill there. It's just another example where they're really needing to focus down a specific target, and instead of all focusing on the same target, there's one shot that goes to a different direction, which would have gotten them another kill.
Well, I have to say, I'm very impressed with Baby Millie's survivability, considering a lot of the heal bubbles or defense abilities from Etheria weren't even targeted at Baby Millie. It was on keeping the firepowers alive. So while Road had decent damage, Ash Jackie had 2 ultimates and some solid damage in plays, and Etheria was able to help keep those supports alive. It's Baby Millie's play as frontliner that really impressed me this game.
Yeah, and once again, Baby Millie is an excellent frontliner. I've been watching him pretty much this entire season, and he's just been doing a great job, especially on Asana. Super impressed. And, his Titus play, obviously just as strong. I didn't see him with a whole lot of heal modded abilities there. His shout had a different mod on it, but he's still able to keep himself alive just by focusing the right people and playing that kind of harassment frontliner that is just so deadly to a team, splitting them up and allowing Outplayed to really pick them off one at a time.
So Outplay's well on their way. They did sweep their round 1 opponent and are now looking to sweep round 2. This could be a 6-point week, putting Outplayed in an untouchable position. Definitely securing the number 2 spot, and depending on how trash his games go, possibly contesting the number 1 spot. OP just looked so strong there. You have to wonder, what can Not 100 do to try and dethrone these guys?
So yeah, and I think we will see if they have found any change in their tactics with this next game here. Of course, Not 100 still kind of a newcomer to the league. This is going to be their 3rd week, I believe, and they have shown a lot of improvement, but at this point, with just the only 5 or 6 teams playing on each Saturday, they inevitably come back around and end up playing against a lot of the top tier teams here on the Saturday match.
And that's what you have to expect in this league. You can't expect to be, you've got to come into these leagues if you want to play, expecting to play the top tier and expecting to be as good as them. And this Not 100 team is starting to shape up very quickly. I expect a lot more out of them in the next season. Right now, they need to get their positioning sorted out very quickly. You saw in that game, there were a lot of turns where their firepowers ended out of cover, whereas Outplayed had their firepowers in cover with clear shots on them. It really made it tricky to keep people alive. In addition, you always had Outplayed with their frontliner in between the firepowers and the rest of the team until that frontliner went on the support. There were a lot of turns where the frontliner from Not 100 was way out of off fighting one person, off blocking one person, not able to assist the rest of the team, not applying pressure on the back line, simply trying to deal with this frontliner, and they were on the back foot the entire time. I'd love to see them take a more long-ranged, more slow and methodical composition, maybe a Gremlins, and slowly advance behind the frontliner, always keeping their squishier characters in between their frontliner and the wall. See if they can't get that positioning to where they want it to be, because they can apply damage when they need to.
Yeah, and that's, it's just one of those things, is their positioning is really the toughest thing they've got going for them right now. In that very first engagement, you saw them coming together, where we had Baby Millie just charge in, went right for the support, went right for Omni, was able to catch Rampart as well. Would have caught Blackburn, but Blackburn used that early dash, saw some damage coming, and decided to get out of the way. It's just they were clustered up more often than not, giving Outplayed more than ample opportunity to take down plenty of damage on, two or more members of their team, and more than half the time they were out of cover. So it was just a situation where once they get their positioning down, I think they'll be doing a lot better, because it seems like they've got some good focus in some portions, and then other halves of the game they're just not quite doing as well. And I think there may be a communication error going on there, but maybe they just need a little bit more practice. But once they get that down, I think we can see a lot more good coming from them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some more scrimmages will help too, guys. If you're considering to making a team for the Prep Phase League or joining one, definitely play against these teams. Practice is everything. You're not going to get good with just the 2 matches a week. These teams constantly practice against other top tier players. They grind the ranked games, they do scrimmages. It's a lot of stuff. So these are all guys that are getting better week to week with practice. And that's what you need to go into games, not just looking to play, but specifically to practice certain things. Let's see if they can put some of that to use coming up. Looks like we're just waiting on one more player to get ready here.
Well, and let's also throw the fact out there that almost all the people who play in these top tier teams are more than willing to help newer players who have questions. They've said so 100 times before. They invite just about anybody to come scrimmage with them, and they will absolutely give you some, review, tips, tricks, whatever you need after those games, because honestly, I mean, let's face it, the pool of top tier players right now is kind of small. There's a lot of players out there. It's a small community, so there's that one level, and it's kind of a glass ceiling at this moment until people can just get more time in. Some of these players have been playing about a year now, so they've had a lot of practice under their belt. So they want more players that are really good. They've been playing the same people for a long time. They want more people in here, and they want you to get good so they can, have a good challenge with you as well.
Absolutely. So it looks like these teams getting ready to roll here. We've got Not 100 trying to steal a game from Team Outplayed, who has won their first 3 games today, looking to make it a 4th. Looks like they're also going to maybe sub out Etheria from Zrave. They'd love to get both of these members playing. Neither one truly a sub at this point, both sharing a lot of that responsibility. So we'll see if they do indeed. And in fact, I think Malediction coming in.
Yeah, Malediction coming in
here.
as well here. So those
They're
seem
trying
to
to
be,
get everybody.
those seem to be the every weekend they've got kind of a thing where pretty much each matchup they have one's time will be Zrave and Malediction, the other time will be Etheria, and I just forgot his name.
Ash Jackie.
There you go.
And that makes them so well practiced together, but so unpredictable for the enemy team, because you have to play against 2 different, 50% of the team is different every time, plays differently, has different champions. When you play against Outplayed, you've got to know 2 different banning strategies, 2 different pick strategies, 2 different whole styles of play. And they're just as practiced because these players always play together on these setups. They know exactly what they're going to do. It makes them a hard team to play against, and that's one of the reasons that, besides just being generally good players and well coordinated, that they've managed to secure one of the top 2 spots in the final tournament coming up.
Well, yeah, and let's not also forget the fact that, every time I see these guys playing, they're in a group together then as well. These guys don't just practice, scrimmages. They're playing just random games for fun together, so they know each other's playstyles incredibly well. And looks
All right,
like,
so it looks like these teams are getting ready to go, and we've just got the map selection. Cloudspire coming out right away. This time the home team is Not 100, so they want to take it to a smaller map here. They want to get more engagements going on more quickly, which was a little bit of their downfall last time. Let's see if they can make up for it here, maybe because there's less avenues of approach. They think they'll be able to defend those better. We'll see as they go ahead for these bans what exactly their plan is here.
it looks like Outplayed coming in with a Nyx ban, Not 100 immediately banning that Asana again. They just don't want to deal with that.
So do they actually take the Helio here is the question. He snuck through. It's a small map where these big AoEs are actually more valuable. They can hit more people a percentage of the time. But Asana is banned out, so you risk giving away, if you want a certain one or two frontliners, you've got to pick it now. I'm sure this is why it's taking them a little while to figure out, do we go with a frontliner? Do we go with a support? No, they're actually going to go with Lockwood, another highly pick. So many things going through these teams' mind in the first few picks.
Wow, and Not 100 coming through incredibly fast, picking Titus up for themselves, not going to let Baby Millie have that choice again, and then grabbing Helio along with it. Titus, of course, being a fantastic black hole delivery system.
So now not only did they ban and pick a frontliner before the other team has a choice, so now they have to pick between the remaining three. Not 100 got the first two shots off there. They also get this Helio, but Outplayed wisely says, you know what, we're going to let them have that, because if they pick that, we can always go ahead and pick this Aurora that has that wide unstoppable mod you're almost certain to see versus a Helio to try and avoid some wall shenanigans. That means Not 100. I want to see this Grandma. I want to see somebody with a movement effect to push people through these Helio walls, because Helio needs combos to be super effective. Otherwise, his shields are good, but really, he wants people with knockbacks, with pulls, to put people through these walls again and again. You've seen Gray, another wall champion. Where are we going to get these amazing knockbacks for the combos with these two amazing wall champions?
Well, I gotta say, I really, really like the drafting going on in this particular game. All of these are very strong Lancers. Not 100 has a great lineup here so far. Outplayed just picking up Rask has really, in my mind, just a picture-perfect composition. Lockwood, Celeste, Aurora, and Rask, I mean, that's nasty. And of course, you have Not 100 following up with Zuki, which on Cloudspire can be an absolutely disgusting damage dealer. I mean, this is that map where you see Zuki throwing out 700 damage numbers.
I love the Zuki pick, but I still think their composition really threw me a curveball there. They're leaning towards pulling people through traps, right? They've got a bunch of big wall damage abilities, as I was mentioning earlier, and then they throw in the Zuki, who's big damage, but if the enemy team can escape from it, if they're not pulled or pushed into the wrong positions, Zuki really only has that sticky bomb and her ultimate to get through cover. And there's a lot of cover to be found on this map. Yes, her ultimate can hit for smaller damage. I mean, her basic can hit for small damage around it. But I'm not sure that's the synergy they were looking for in this team. I don't know if they have big enough single target damage to apply when they need to.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you have to look at one thing. First off, you see Outplayed picking up Aurora, so you automatically have to assume that any kind of knockbacks, especially with Helio on their own team, you have to assume that that Aurora is running unstoppable on her Paralaser. It may not be the case, but you don't want to go too knockback heavy in your composition, because
I think it's the opposite there. You want, if you just have one knockback, she's going to have unstoppable up every time you use it. If you're going to go, you either go none, or you put it, or you make it useless.
Yeah, so it's like all in or all out.
I mean, that's what you have to do against a once every so turn ability.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? It's every 4 turns, I believe. So, yeah. I mean, it's really, I guess, just two different ways of thinking. The walls and, of course, Gray's ultimate are very effective just on their own, but you do get more value out of them if you combine them with a combo. But if those combos are just too obvious, you're going to see that Paralaser coming out and just throwing that unstoppable on everybody, kind of nullifying everything you just put all this work into.
We'll see as these teams get into it. Outplayed versus Not 100. Their second match, Outplayed took round 1, Not 100 to make big upset round 2. Not 100 will be the blue team, with Outplayed on the red team as they start to prepare for their first turn.
Yeah, it looks like seeing a little bit more grouped up opening here, with Not 100 moving up towards the top, taking that defensive position. Outplayed spreading out a little bit more. Actually, not a little bit more, quite a bit. And of course, Baby Millie on Rask. I'm actually a little excited to see what happens here. Rask, of course, being one of my favorites, and I don't think we've only seen maybe one game this season so far with Baby Millie on Rask.
Now, the only person that anybody knows where they are is Baby Millie right now, since they did get the buff. Everybody else out of line of sight, but they'll be surprised to see what happens very soon as Rambo throws out the big one. Princess is going to dagger Baby Millie in case they dash. Baby Millie staying in place. Arami will trigger that with the drone.
Oh, no longer happens. Yeah.
Even the active part of the drone no longer triggers that. That is right. So it looks like they're still going to just run in, and maybe their dash will take them out. We'll see as these teams finally collide.
Yeah, it looks like Baby Millie is right there where he wants to be found. The two backliners got Helio and Gray right there in front of him. And of course, you have Road has a beautiful shot on just about everybody. So just great positioning coming out of Outplayed in this early game. A little bit of luck and just a little bit of know-how of where to position to catch those, more known spots that people run to.
Of course, Raven in a tough spot as all this prep comes out. The black hole, we've got some weakening. Even more weakening from the face me, the thundering roar. Drave is going to put down a healing field ion cloud as Raimi takes a shot at Road. Rambo's also going to take a shot at Road. Looks like they're going to focus down Road here, making sure he can't do the damage that he wants to. Princess going to find two people with the basic attack, but Road finding three with a light 'em up will do a massive bit of damage. Malediction, of course, with the might buff, able to go ahead and put down some blocking clouds, and the combinations. Baby Mill able to throw Raimi directly into the ion cloud for a lot of damage for a single throw.
All right, yeah, it looks like they got both Princess and Raimi in that ion cloud. Not to mention a Celeste trap there. So this is going to be a really nasty round for those two if they don't get out of there. So it looks like we're seeing more of that trap synergy coming from Outplayed than we are from Not 100, who has those two wall lancers.
Omni going to throw out the shield. You expect the wall coming out this turn. It is. Where exactly will... Indeed, that disruption matrix is put directly where Road was dashing through, so he will... Gambled will not pull and be out of position, though. Baby finding two people in the back. Again, exactly where Rask wants to be. Malediction still mighted, as well as these traps just do work on Shining as Rambo tries to focus Rave. Princess tries to focus Rave. Again, more and more traps popping off on Princess. The pull will try and get Zeri through, but thanks to the Unstoppables, Rave will not go through that wall and will not go anywhere.
Yeah, and honestly, that's really one of those questions they need to ask themselves. Do they want to try and use that black hole wall combo, or could that wall be better thrown elsewhere to try and cause more damage? Now, it did catch Road from dashing, so that was a nice bonus, but I've seen a lot of really great play where you'll use the black hole as a fake out to either force a dash from somebody and put it in their dash path, like they did with Road there, or just use it in a completely different place altogether.
Rambo dashes out, dealing damage and avoiding big response. Baby Millie won't find much as well. Road takes direct shots at Princess as Zrave takes a little bit of damage back from Omni. Looks like Arami finds a good drone position, will hit two, possibly again next turn if they do swap spots. The heal from Road will get Princess Shining out of position, although their dash should be up available again. Zrave will catch that healing, so it is Omni who's now way out of position.
Yeah, it looks like both Omni and Princess Shining have three members of the enemy team to contend with. Outplayed all around them, and Baby Millie not close, but does have his dash back up. Rambo AZ and Malediction, of course, kind of off on their own at the moment.
Shielding going down on Princess to try and make sure they don't go down this turn. Omni's actually going to use his Catalyst already to get out of the fight. Zrave will get a two-person heal, although Princess Shining will undo all of that hard work pretty quickly. It looks like the shot from Rhodes actually going to miss because of that Catalyst. Rambo will not, with a mighty shot from the back, bringing Road extremely low, but still not dead.
All right, so let's take a look here. So we've got Omni there. They don't have any idea of where he was at. He had no reveal on him, so he did get away for this turn. and Outplayed in a beautiful position, both for their own ultimates and Princess Shining's ultimate. So this is about to be a pretty high damage match. You've got Zrave, of course, going to be healing and dealing damage at the same time. The big question here is, are they going to catch Omni in it?
Well, Road Turtle Tech, so the death that might have been probably will not be. We'll look to see if they can focus down Princess Shining as well. Rambo's going to throw out this big one. Surprised that they're not putting it directly on top of Zrave, as if this ultimate hits it will root. Zrave's going to use the ultimate to catch most of the map with some healing and damage. Road's going to bounce in as well. Combined with Baby, that brings Princess extremely low. The ultimate does come out. That would have been such a good spot for the big one. Locking down Zrave, slowing, not slowing Baby Millie, actually, as they are unstoppable. Malediction will find direct shots on Rambo. As Rambo tries to get in from the back, almost taking down Zrave. Baby Millie still at decent health, but still no kills, although Road and Zrave are looking worse for the wear.
I know, but you really have to give Not 100 some credit here. Look at the just position that Outplayed is now in. Two of their members, both their support and Road, at 10 or less health. Princess Shining and Omni not in greater position, but Omni does have that Helio ultimate available, which will buy someone at least one full turn of time.
Weekend coming out on Rask, assuming that he might dash to ultimate on somebody. So many dashes coming out. Road went in, Baby Millie came in, Rambo got out. It does look like that. Unfortunately, the support Zrave does go down. Damage happens on Rhymi with both the trap and Road dashing in. The big one finds nobody in it, but Baby Millie with the dash in will find damage on the support, taking down Aurora. Malediction, a big ultimate, would have caught 3 people except by the dash from Rambo, wisely saving their life. Now it's down to Road and Rhymi to try and survive this turn.
And I gotta say, I really like what Princess tried to do there. He did the dash, the one space dash, catching Zrave there, and did take Zrave out, but saved himself from Road's ultimate. But I don't think he dashed at the right person. If he dashed across the map, he certainly had the range to hit Malediction. He actually would have saved himself a whole nother turn that he could deal damage out.
Road tries to dash out, but the predictions by Rhymi are too much as they catch the damage, getting the only kill possible before they certainly go down to Baby Millie themselves. Such a solid turn of events, but unfortunately going out for not 100, going out in Outplayed's favor, as they have a 3-2 lead right now, with Rambo sitting on ultimate but with almost no health.
All right, looks like we've got 2 members of Outplayed spawning right next to each other. It's like they're gonna try and regroup there, but Malediction gonna try and grab that might away from anybody who wants it.
Yeah, it looks like those cluster bombs are going to miss. Rambo not electing to do an ultimate as Malediction had a dash. These teams going to reform their front lines with an odd grouping in the front from Outplayed.
I'm sorry, it actually shows both teams as a red portal there, so that was Not 100 spawning there, which would explain why Malediction was dashing away. Just wanted to get out of dodge before the rest of the reinforcements showed up for Rambo.
Who's your favorite inventor?
Looks like Omni going to shield Rambo. Rambo managing to survive against all odds after all the time. The dagger will try and track Malediction, make sure that they can get some damage down. The ultimate does barely reach Malediction. If they are not out of here with a catalyst, then they are taking a ton of damage. No, they're going to grab some health, do a little bit of damage in return. Zrave's going to try and heal them a little bit more with this ion field, but Rambo coming in with massive shots combined with the dagger. That brings Malediction down to under 35 health. Zrave trying to follow up into their own ironclad for a little bit of healing, sitting pretty high.
And I gotta say, that was a great play from Rambo there. Waited for Malediction to use their dash up. Now, both them and Zrave did have catalysts available, but they were right on the edge of that ultimate range, and really probably not expecting it to come out at that point. So timing those ultimates until, the enemy team is just not expecting it to happen, as opposed to choosing that obvious moment to throw it out there, can really make a difference.
Heals go down on Malediction. A wall coming out to try and trap out the enemy team as Baby Millie dives all the way across the map, seeing if they can't body block and get some damage on Rambo, which is exactly what happens. Trap. That's another kill. 4 kills for OP. Let's see if they can come back, get another one on Not 100. Road's going to pound some damage into Shining, as will Malediction, trying to make him possibly their 5th kill. Grimey's going to contribute what they can from the back with the drone. They're really trying to put most of it on Malediction, pulling Zrave directly through, but with the knockback from Malediction and the unstoppable Malediction has, they're going to take no damage.
And it looks like once again, Outplayed has turned what was a pretty bad situation into their favor again. You've got both Omni and Princess sitting there, surrounded by the enemy team. Baby Millie, of course, on the other side, but, you know, doesn't have a dash up for another 4 turns as he just used it, but he's going to be back in there pretty quickly.
Shields from Omni on Princess Shining, since they are the lowest out in the open, just trying to keep them alive. Combined with the ultimate, that's going to do big damage to Zrave and almost guarantee Princess survives the turn. Rimey's going to weaken, track, and slow Zrave, who just dashes out.
Line up nice and pretty for me.
The shots are going from Road, are going to catch 2 people as Shining dashes into Malediction. That's going to also put the ultimate damage on Malediction as well, who's sitting super low. Can they find the last bit of damage? They don't. Rimey was shooting at Zrave. Malediction manages to run away around back into a pretty safe spot.
Yeah, not to mention Malediction does still have a catalyst available to them, so they do still have an out if they feel like they're have a chance of getting hit, which they really don't at this point. Of course, we got Princess Shining out there in the middle. Doesn't really have a great opportunity to use this Helio ultimate as well, unless they wanted to shift, which of course they have not.
If that was a shift catalyst, they could have shifted back and actually killed Malediction. Instead, everybody's going to focus damage onto Omni this turn as everybody else just trades a little bit. Malediction around the back going to start their healing with that second wind catalyst as Omni gets thrown out into the open, and now it's Omni with nothing but a prep phase catalyst to defend and a shield to defend themselves from most of the enemy team.
And then you had Malediction there picking that haste up, using second wind, which now lets you do your double move when using second wind. Runs all the way over there for that health bubble. Rambo AZ does have a shot on them, and looks like they have a fairly decent last known as well.
Omni will pick up the shield on themselves. You've got to expect them to try and do everything they can to live this turn. Prep phase, big one going out on from Rambo, trying to predict Malediction's final spot. Baby will take a shot. Road takes a shot. Omni goes extremely low despite the shields. Rimey's trying to focus on the support. The Zrave even comes in on Omni. Omni's got not much left. The direct shot hits Malediction. Unfortunately, only taking them to 20-30 because of that healing. They'll be able to make it through, but now Omni
5 turns
is out
left.
of options.
Yeah, and they will be getting another 26 heals this turn. I'm adding in, of course, that +1 that he just got from the turn changing over. So the chances of him getting taken down just by Rambo this turn are pretty small. Because he does have his dash back up, can get out of the big one. So just stacking those heals on can keep you alive for quite some time against one person.
So Baby Mill's just going to total attack, guard against anything funny happening. Road's getting out of here with the ultimate that does the final damage to Omni, but you can tell they're not done yet. Malediction leaving as well. Doesn't want to take a death. Princess Shining will take a hit on Baby Mill. The big one finds nobody off in the corner, and the shot from Rambo doesn't either. Baby will find the hit on both Omni and Princess Shining, combined with Zrave healing their team and pounding away. That will take down Helio for the 5-3 victory. Not 100, just spreading the damage out too much, trying desperately to survive, but hitting people one at a time, not having the focus that Outplayed had, which allowed Outplayed to really take this one.
And I gotta say, Malediction staying alive that entire game and just dealing out incredible damage. Did an excellent job as Celeste. I mean, looking here at the rest of them, you had Road as well, did 442, although a lot of that was credit due to that very final ultimate he did, which was about 100 damage all on its own.
Yeah, so I want to mention too, I really liked Rambo's positioning for most of that game. Though they didn't meet the damage numbers of some of the enemy team, they did actually, in the beginning, stay alive for quite some time, able to pound out damage and find the kills early on, or at least set up the kills that did a lot. Definitely a credit to their team as well. Unfortunately, a lot of the shots were just a little too spread out, whereas the focus from OP, you saw Road, Maledictions, Rave, Baby Mill, all hitting the same people, especially Baby in the front, putting the pressure on the back line. Road being able to dance around inside, and as you mentioned, Malediction just constant damage and pressure from the backfield. Really good positioning, really good damage.
Well, and I do want to go back and say, Not 100 had, like, their positioning improved almost 100% in this game. It was actually really impressive to watch, because there was at one point where they had outplayed really on their back heel, and you had, two members right outside the fountain. You had Helio in the top there, able to get off really excellent Echo Hammer chain shots, and then Princess shining right there in their faces, and it was just, oh, you could almost say picture perfect positioning for the moment. And they had a couple of those times where they just had really great positioning on Outplayed, which kind of secured those 2 kills. If they could just get it to where they've got that kind of positioning every single turn, like some of these top tier teams are able to do, they're really going to go somewhere here.
Yeah, let's see if they're just trying to get one of their team in here for an interview so we can see exactly what was going through OP's mind, how to prepare for this final tournament. With that sweep, they guarantee themselves that they are 100% going to be first or second seed in the tournament. Quite a win for Outplayed.
Well, let's just also say for at least 12 hours, they have just ranked themselves above Trash.
Yeah, they are currently, technically, because Trash doesn't play until tomorrow, and maybe even continuously if Trash doesn't play or doesn't find a win, right now the number 1 ranked team in the league. So congrats to Outplayed. You managed to eke out 31 points, at least until the teams tomorrow play, where Trash may come back and go over the top again.
All right, let's see. Who do we think we're
So
getting
we're
in
gonna
here?
get Road directly in here, it looks like.
All right.
Hey, Road, welcome. How you doing today?
Yeah, good.
All right, so you guys must feel good. You're currently, I don't know if you kept track of the points while you're playing, but you are currently the top ranked team in the league with 31 points, at least until Trash plays tomorrow, and maybe might dethrone you again as they have 30 before they play this week.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really expect Trash to lose tomorrow.
But you've secured your second place spot. Does that change anything about how you guys are going to prepare for the tournament coming up? There's a bigger prize pool than ever. You guys are in a seated position. You're definitely in the money, and you're going to be playing maybe one of a couple different teams depending on how tomorrow comes out. How do you prepare for that?
To be honest, nothing's really changed because we pretty much expected to get here anyways.
Fair
So
enough.
you guys were very confident in your abilities, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your team. Seems a lot of teams go with the 4 main members. Your team seems to be one of the few that's actually doing 2 different full team compositions. A lot of times you have that Zrave Malediction, and then you swap out pretty often for Etheria and Ash Jackie. You've got really 6 full members of the team. How has that been helping you? And just can you talk to us a little bit about why you guys came to that decision?
Let's see. Well, different members of our team have different specialties, different freelancer pools, and different combos that can work together, and we developed them with those pairs. And I don't know. I really shouldn't say any more about
right,
this.
We won't pressure too much for secret strategies. We're just wondering. Sometimes we see you pull them both in the same matchups to confuse the enemy. Sometimes we see you guys, sticking for one matchup, one the other. You'll have to surprise us in the finals, and let us know exactly what this has all been leading up to.
All right. All right.
Let me take your word on that. So after the tournament, you're going to answer that question for us.
If you want to.
I guess I'll have to. There isn't.
Yeah.
Oh, at the end of the tournament.
The people demand an answer.
Yeah. All right. Maybe.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations. You guys have done an excellent job this season. Just, basically biting on the tail of trash this entire time. Doing an excellent job of sticking in that second place seed the entire time. And even keeping there when some of the matchups, especially last week, were really kind of nobody really knew how it was going to go, but you guys just blew through it. So just excellent job there, and I really can't wait to see how the tournament turns out.
I'm not going to let him off this easy. Road, if there's a team besides Trash that could win a set versus you guys right now, what team would be most likely to fill that? Even if you don't think they would, what team would be most likely besides Team Trash to take a set off you guys?
Let me think about that.
Oh,
It would
there's
have
a
to
bunch up there.
be.
It's 2OP, Voltaic, Fun, PFF, Cookie Cutters, Love Bites, all vying for spots right now.
It would be Voltaic Gaming.
All right,
Yeah.
you heard it here, guys. Voltaic, somebody to watch out for. We will have more games for them, and you can watch them. This YouTube will have all of our games, as well as Twitch will have the replays. We've got both going on at the same time, so be sure to check them out, all these past plays, and get ready for this final tournament. Road, thanks for being on. Anything else you want to say to your fans, supporters, the people out in viewerland right now?
Well, no, not really.
All right. Well, just look forward to them, guys. They'll be coming up. That's their 2 full sweeps this week. They'll definitely be on day 2 of the tournament. They've earned their bye. Congratulations to Outplayed, and we hope you guys have a good showing in the finals.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. All right. See you around.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was Road with Outplayed. Honestly, so I want to go back that question you asked. I'm actually really surprised he said Voltaic Gaming. Not that I necessarily disagree with him, because Voltaic and 2OP are the guys right behind him. But historically, the only team that has actually split a match with Outplayed is Play for Fun.
And I don't know if maybe that's just the hype catching up with them, but Voltaic was started this year with some of the top solo queue players right before Season 2 started. And it is a scary matchup if you guys look at it. It's got Hellfire, Arid, Kodo, Horrorfire, Arctic Monkey, Dirt Crow, names that most players in the high-level queue will recognize. And they have them playing very solid and definitely getting their act together. Play for Fun, very solid, but just struggling right now to actually even make the tournament. They're in one of those spots where they may or may not make it based on how they do and how Cookie Cutters and Love Bites do, and even how Fun does. So, well, you probably see Play for Fun in the tournament, and they might come up against them. We'll have to see. Will Play for Fun and Voltaic play Outplayed, and will this prediction come true? It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, definitely is going to be exciting. Now, we are actually going to take about a 5-minute break here so I can console Ash Jackie about me for forgetting his name. And we will be right back. Our next matchup is going to be Origami no Jitsu, otherwise known as just Origami, versus COTP. Once again, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. I think that is going to be an awesome match. I can't wait to see that one. Those two teams are right there with each other as far as where they are on the leaderboards. Of course, COTP right there at number 13, and Origami actually having a really good week last week, has jumped all the way up to number 11. And when we had our interview with the captain of Origami, I have to say I was very impressed with what he was saying as to how far, how much they're doing to really try and improve their game. So it looks like at this point, Restart's not talking. So we're going to go ahead and jump onto that 5-minute break here. And we will be back here pretty shortly with Origami no Jitsu versus COTP.